Welcome back. It's me and George Raft. Hang on a second. I'm going to do my little techie. So just it always looks odd to me to say hello and then look away. So on the screen, I'm looking at you, and to my that side, I can see the conversations that come up, and it also allows me to type something. And so at the beginning, I just like to say, welcome back, so that when you do tune in, you've already had a hello. So I have no I have no idea where this cold came from. It snuck up on me. I had kind of a quiet weekend. I had lunch out with a pal. Couple of well, no, a couple of busy, crazy, emotional things on the weekend. Maybe that's what it was. And I wasn't quite entirely over the actual cold that I had. So all of a sudden, I get this feeling that I'm not alone in here. Something, someone else has joined me, and it's a bit disconcerting. And it always starts here because obviously, clearly, I overuse this. Anyway, my name is Abby Haggard. You have joined me on live, and I am coming to you from Facebook, YouTube, and LinkedIn now. Isn't that wonderful? Okay, quick sip to lubricate this poor little old throat. Oh, I may have to do it again. So good. Okay, so I usually a couple of days before the week begins, I plan what I want to do with the videos. I I always begin, I'm a process person. I begin with a destination in mind, and then I look at where I am and figure out how to navigate my way from here to there. And what I wanted to talk about this week was the invisible stuff, the stuff we don't see, the stuff that we do automatically, and then find ourselves in a place we didn't like the last time. So what am I doing here again? For God's sake. And it's not a lack of discipline. It's not laziness. It's not paying attention. It is actually survival mechanism, hardwired. It's in there, and it is how our brain can manage so many functions. It has autopilot. We do this, okay, and then we're going to do that, okay, and then we're going to do this, and the things just roll out the way they always have, unless we decide that we need to change them. And I think everybody agrees that the least complicated way to get rid of an unhelpful habit is to replace it with a different one, a helpful habit. It's easier to fill the time and have no time for what isn't working than to just try and stop cold turkey, because we want to fill the void. Nature doesn't like a vacuum. I don't like a vacuum either, but that's a whole other domestic thing. So um and the things that we try, like sometimes I don't know, have you ever done this? You take something out of the fridge and you deal with it, and then your mind is on the next thing you're going to do. So you don't necessarily put the fridge thing back in the fridge. Good morning, Freddie. I'm so glad you could join me. I'm so sorry about my voice. So you take a thing out of the fridge, you use it, but you're now thinking about the next ingredient or the next thing you need to do. And you don't always put that fridge thing back in the fridge. I have caught myself opening the pantry door, holding the milk carton. I've seen my hand about to put the milk carton or the coffee urn, that thick thing. And I'm thinking, no. But I have my hand on the door to the wrong place. No. And then I laugh, because what I was obviously doing was the next step without completing the last step. That's wiring. That's go here, do that. without realizing that we've blurred the dots. That's one of those things that just happens without us paying attention until at the last minute we think, hang on, that doesn't look right. Walk around trying to find the milk for an hour and it's gone bad next to the crackers. So what I feel is different about the help I give people, about the coaching I give people, about the conversations, the training, the nudging I do with people, is that I show them how. We discuss what and why and when and where, and then I show them this is the tool, this is how it works, this is why you need it. If you don't use this way, it doesn't happen. And I want to give people the tools so that they're not held hostage to me or me to them. They can come back to me if they want to, for just for fun, for I need an idea. Can you help me with this? However, before they make that decision, I want them to feel that the time they spent with me, they learned something that set them free. They learned something that made them smarter, more capable, and therefore, hey, you know what? I figured this one out. All right, pat me on the back. Good for me. Because we need those attaboys. We need those attagirls. We need to know that whatever race we're running, that there is a finish line and we crossed it. And it was work and we did it and we made it. We need that validation all the way through our lives. And when we're very young, we have immediate validation all around us because we're very young. We can't reach the car keys on the counter and we can't go to a job and make the money to pay the rent. There's bigger, older people who do that for us. And we are busy learning what our feet are for and how not to fall downstairs. When we're at that place where everybody is taking care of us while we are still fairly helpless, we're in full-on learning mode. Watch, learn, try, fail, watch, learn, try, fail, watch, learn, try, say, succeed. And every time we hit one of those markers, am I right, Freddie? Every time we succeed at something we haven't done before, it's I'm feeling a little taller today and I'm all right. Okay. Maybe I'll try it again to make sure it wasn't a fluke. and it gives us the kind of confidence we need when we need it all the time. We need confidence all the time. However, when something exhausting has happened to us, happy or sad, or just complicated, and we are exhausted, we need that feeling of confidence that as soon as I'm rested, I'll be able to get it back. I'll be able to get back to where I was and continue doing what I was doing. When we lose that sense of, I got this, it's very sad and it feels a little frightening. It's almost like a boat. If a boat could think and it realizes that it's lost its rudder, that means that it can't direct itself. It can't guide itself. It has to wait for the wind and the tides to do it, or another big boat or a very large fish. And that's frustrating and disappointing. And then we're not having any fun at all. We're not finding any joy. We're not feeling any satisfaction at a job well done. We're feeling like we failed. And that's a terrible way to feel. So because we all experience those moments, and because I have made it my kind of path to see the patterns if I can, I try to look at the cause and effect and see if I can spot a pattern. And the reason I do that is the next time I'm shifted out of a familiar place to a new place, if I can see the patterns quickly, I can adapt more quickly. And I can feel comfortable, even if I'm in an unfamiliar place. I can feel confident that I'm probably going to be okay sooner. And when we don't feel that way, a lot of things go wrong in the whole mechanism, in the whole system. And I think for me, I was saying I had no idea where this cold came from. I know where the cold came from. I caught a cold reasonably, seasons change. And I was cleaning the apartment and there was a lot of dust. And so, I had stuff. I have experienced a lot of emotional ups and downs very, very quickly, very, very recently. Very, very good news, very confusing news, very exciting news, very exhausting news in quick succession. Lots of emotional stuff. And like that little boat with no rudder, with no anchor, with no way to control itself, I've pretty much been buffeted by the winds the last few weeks. Last couple of years, sure. Life, yes. But just recently, a lot of stuff, a lot of unfolding of things. And if it's happening to me, I know it's happening to you, which is why I think it's helpful that we talk about it. Because one of the side effects of feeling overwhelmed, of feeling sad, of feeling a little lost, is that we don't really feel safe and we don't really feel that anybody would understand. And it's so, so important to know that there are people who do. There are people so much like us. And they take one look and they say, got it. You need a hug? You need a virtual hug. Do you want to talk? I can listen. Actually, I can, surprisingly. We need those people in our lives. The funny thing is that until we have enough energy and enough confidence to say how we feel, we're too tired. We need to rest to get better enough to say, hey, they use a hug over here. It takes a lot of energy to do that. So one of the things that is a real sneaky energy stealer, emotional vampire, stress attack thing is cumulative negativity, cumulative toxic moments. One thing that upsets us, one thing that annoys us, one thing that confuses or alarms us is one trigger. What is worse is many, because you don't just get 1 + 1. It's exponential. I can only give you virtual hugs. Freddie, the virtual hugs are amazing. And I feel the same. So this is the conversation today. How can we spot the habit we have of holding on to unhelpful stuff? And it's a really, really cool and simple hack. Give me a second. Oh, okay. So I have attached a keyword to each thing we do that doesn't help us, that does us no favors, that gets in our way and makes us vulnerable to exhaustion. Well, good morning, Julie. Beautiful souls. Good morning. So, what I'm talking about this morning, Julie, is the invisible habits we use that we don't realize we have and do that are unhelpful, that are toxic, and how to fix it by, first of all, recognizing it, seeing it, because they're invisible. How do we do that? So, the three words that I use are these: chase, cling, and cherish. Now, everybody can imagine in their mind an image, Bugs Bunny, whatever, um, a muscle car movie, what a chase is. Listening in while creating my coffee drink this morning. Alrighty then. Uh, we know what a chase is. We know that it is something fleeing, receding in the distance, and something trying to stop that, chasing after, anxious, angry, scared, afraid, confused, desperate, chasing, 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 chasing. It's an exercise in trying to control something that is not in our grasp. It is trying to get hold of something that is ahead. A very, very dear, lovely, funny, crazy showbiz child of mine, when I asked him to give me his definition of fame, he said, "I'm not sure this is what you're looking for, but as far as I'm concerned, if you're chasing it, you're doing it wrong." I loved it when he said that, because the longer you think about it, the smarter it is. If you're chasing fame, you're seeking something that is outside you, and you are pinning your hopes on that outside thing to make you happy. It's not here within our grasp. It's out there. And we are setting everything aside to race madly in search of it. Okay, that's my definition of chase. I use the word chase to ask myself if I am present and focused, or if I have somehow accidentally allowed myself to disconnect from the moment I'm in to chase something that is not mine now, and maybe not even be mine to own later. I don't know. I'm too busy chasing. I am anxious to have it before it's time. I'm trying to alter the arc because I am feeling anxious and in need of whatever that might be. As long as I'm there, as long as that's my mindset, as long as I allow my brain to churn over and over, and oh my God, what am I going to do? And what do I do? And then I was like, I can't, oh my God, I just have to, I have to. Little kid in three ahead of me at a Dairy Queen a few years ago, I heard him say, little kid, about 8 or 10 years old, heard him say to his parents, "You don't understand, I need chocolate ice cream." That's Chase. That's Chase. His whole happiness, his whole future depended on the having of a chocolate ice cream. That child was setting himself up for a life of bitter, bitter disappointment. So if we get that feeling and we are breathing in a shallow way, the way you see people running in fear, or running in anger or running in desperation. Okay, that's not good for us. Not good for us. Unhelpful. If we feel that we are chasing and we are breathing and we feel anxious and there is a tingling, there is also a certain addiction to the adrenaline rush. It's exciting. We're terrified. It's exciting. Okay, there's different kinds of adrenaline. Fear, anger, desperation is the easiest one to get because that's the one the subconscious brain knows best. But it doesn't help us, it doesn't serve us, and it doesn't allow us to grow. Why? I will tell you why. Because if I am chasing that, who's in charge? Who's driving my bus? Who is making all my decisions for me? Not me. My expectation of that, my belief. And if you get what you're chasing, then you feel like, now what? Oh, you're reading me. You're reading me well. Yes, if I am chasing, it is because that has power over me. It is a thing I crave. I don't have. I am giving up everything in the now to chase that. I am abandoning me. I am abandoning this. I'm abandoning you. And every possibility that exists right now for that. Because I am choosing to focus everything on the future, not the now, not the present. So when the phone rings and somebody asks, can I do something? And I say, yes. Oh, yeah, absolutely. I'm only half listening. When I do the job, it's only half done. Oh, 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 sorry. Okay, but that's not what people ask us to do. Not be present and do half the job and then kind of apologize later. That's not why people ask us to do things. It's not why people say, do you want to be in my family? Do you want to work in my tribe? Do you want to be part of my journey? It's only part-time. We don't say that. We assume that if you say, yes, I do, you mean 100%. When you're here, you're 100%. That's what we're really asking. That's what we're assuming you say when you say, yeah, sure. Oh, yeah, sure. And when we find out that the priority is not us, it's something there, we feel betrayed. Rightly so. We feel not ranking high enough on your list of priorities. When, relationships where you're always at work, you're always thinking about work, you're never prioritizing time. I'm doing it for us. No, you're not. Yeah, sure you are. Yes, you are. You are doing it for us kind of in the larger sense. However, it's really you're doing it for because you're the one addicted to doing it. So knowing, and we all do it, we all chase things from time to time. We all get in that mindset. What hurts us, what sets us back, is that when we stop chasing, we don't know where we are. We've lost track. Our mind, our hearts, our energy everything, our efforts have all been focused there. When that ends and we turn around and say, now, where was I? We also say, holy cow, where am I? Because every step we took away is a step we have to take to come back. We can't just turn around and say, now then. It's not how it works. One of the byproducts of the pandemic and the shutdown for many people was their focus on the future. I can't wait till it's all back the way it was. I can't wait. I can't wait. I can't wait. And when the lockdowns were lifted, it wasn't the way it was, because time marches on. And when we turned around from our gaze of what's that and why this and something, and I need to know that, you know, no, we turn around and come back. We have no idea what we're doing. We have no idea how we ended up here. Who was driving the bus while we weren't present? I need to talk to the manager. We're completely out of step. And what happens when we realize that we are out of step is we feel uncertain. And human beings are not wired for uncertainty. That I can tell you. I am wired for uncertainty, thanks to the military childhood I had. And I still don't like it. And it still flips me upside down. Because we are not creatures who naturally defy gravity. We like to be on solid ground. We like to know, okay, safe. That's what we want. We don't want safe. Whoa. We want solid. So that's the first key word. If we are chasing, if we feel, if we say, I'm chasing this. I said to my sweet, lovely client colleague the other day, why are you chasing this? I'm not chasing. Okay. And then we just waited. I waited. And she said, well, I have to do this. Okay. That's not what I asked you. Why are you chasing it? It's like, slow down. Slow down. But I have to, I need an ice cream. Because we get wound up. We see a thing, it's right here, or it's just right there. It's just right there. This will just take a minute. Okay. Famous words. And so if we're chasing, instead of saying, well, it's only for a minute, don't have that conversation. If you know you're chasing, you say, I'm chasing. That means I'm not present. Thank you. Because if I can show you how to learn the habit to recognize where you are, we can rewire your brain to pay attention in this area in a way that it has never done before. Because the brain is good at that. The brain can be rewired. We taught the brain how to take over and drive the car when we're on the highway. We can do that. So the first word, chase. The second word is cling. And there's a big difference between hugging, holding, and clinging. And clinging is a desperate move. Clinging to that branch of the tree that overhangs the cliff we just stepped off, for instance. Clinging to a hope, a memory, a moment that has passed. Clinging desperately to a belief we have that we know now isn't true. Clinging. The word cling tells us we are living in the past. We are hanging on to the way something was, not the way it is. And we are desperately, desperately trying to stop time so that the way it was remains true. Also, an exercise in desperately trying to control something that is not ours to own. What we had, we had. We have brilliant memories. We have astonishing memories. We have lessons learned, questions asked, steps taken, and we bring it with us because it becomes part of who we are. Our fabulous tapestry, there are threads that are woven every minute of every day. We never lose anything. We just have it and know it and experience it differently. That's not clinging. Clinging is this white knuckle, desperate, live or die. When we do that, we are not here. We are not present. We are not paying attention. I'm not talking about being dedicated to something, giving myself a promise that I wish to fulfill, and doing it incrementally every day to the best of my ability. That's not clinging. That's commitment. That's a promise I made, the promise I'm keeping. I'm talking about refusing to let go and grow. So when we realize, when somebody says, you do realize, and if you get what you're chasing, then you feel like, now what? Yeah, the things we do. So, by the way, when I start muttering like that, I haven't lost something. I'm reading the comments. It's stepped outside me for a minute. And then I said to myself, I wonder what that looks like. Odd. So when we are clinging, we are also breathing that way. We are breathing that shallow way because we know we are not in control. And we are desperately seeking control. While we are doing that, we're not thinking. We're not looking at possibilities. We're not imagining better outcomes. We're not able to plan, communicate, share, assess. We can't do any of those more advanced shared tasks if we are in clinging mode. And the reason we can't do more advanced shared tasks is because those advanced shared tasks require us to be here in the present, paying attention, focused, collaborating, doing what we say we are doing now. So when we feel terribly sad, terribly afraid, terribly lost, terribly, terribly alone, the fact is that it's not true. It feels like it's true when we're trying to cling on to something that is no longer there. Of course, we feel alone if we're trying to hold on to something that isn't there, because it's not there. Of course, we feel lost and confused and desperate because we're trying to be part of something that doesn't exist anymore. We are the only one in the room. in that imaginary room where something once was, of course we're going to feel alone and exhausted and unloved. Of course we are, because we're trying to make something be true when it isn't true anymore. It was true. It wasn't a lie. It happened. And we can bring with us the memory of it and the way we've grown and who we've become because of it. However, we can't grow, we can't experience the joy of taking this memory and using it to live our lives if we refuse to live our lives, if we insist on staying there, back there, living a shadow life. Very, very wise friend of mine, a therapist, said there are people who make the decision that nothing will ever hurt them that way again, and so they never really live in the present because the present scares them. For them, the present holds the possibility that something new could hurt them even worse. So they stay invested, they cling to the past. They relive that sorrow, that sadness, that loss, because that is familiar and they can manage. When you told me that, I thought, wow, I know people who do that. I've probably done it. What a fascinating thing. So if we get the sense that we're clinging, if our grip is too tight, if somebody says, hey, hello, are you here? What? That's your clue. How do you know? That's how you know. The key word is cling. Am I clinging? Now, the third word that is wonderful, and on Facebook today, to tease this video, I posted the most amazing picture that was taken when I did a Fanaticon event in Brockville, Ontario. A fellow came to the booth and he had a service dog with him. So people who are out and about with a service dog have been deemed as needing a support animal to make it through the day. God bless the service animals and the people who train them. And so here was this fellow, and he was very shy. He was standing off to the side. He was holding onto his dog, and he just had this shy smile. And I watched him just kind of standing out of the way for a while, quite a few minutes. And so I went over and I said, hi. And he just sort of smiled, and I said, would you like a picture with me? And I said, feather boa? The feather boa? And I said, okay. Now, I didn't know what his condition was, and I didn't want to presume, so it's why I was asking questions. So I said, for the picture, is it okay to hug? And he, like this. So the picture that is on Facebook, this person who can't connect, has issues, needs a service animal. With a service animal, he feels safe. He wants to live in this world. He's willing to push his boundaries to be here in this world. And thanks to his service dog, he can. However, he has boundaries. He's not okay. He's more okay with the dog. He's okay enough with the dog to come out and feel okay. Like he's good. He's still, however, he's not healed. He's not cured. He's safe. So we stood together, and I think it was Jesse who was doing the pictures that day. And so I put my arm around him. We both had our boas, and I'm smiling. And as she was getting ready, she was saying, okay, ready, here we go. I felt his head on my shoulder. And I thought, I don't know what that is. I don't know what just happened there. But when you see the picture, when you go and you look on Facebook, it's really tearing me up because it's so beautiful. It is truly one of those special surprise gifts, right? His face, the expression on his face, his head, his choice on my shoulder. And um, the look on my face when I realized what just happened, that is a moment to cherish. He was cherishing the moment. The dog was smiling. I was cherishing the moment. There's all kinds of people, all kinds of noise, all kinds of busy at a fan event, lots going on. And in that picture, there is this moment of sweetness and calm and pure joy because we were cherishing that moment together. So for me, the key word I use to remind myself to be in the moment is cherish. We get a bunch of moments, as many as we want, excuse me, but we don't get them back. We can remember them. We can talk and laugh and roll our eyes and cry as we remember them with other people who were there, but we don't get them again. So every moment, we discussed this photo with Chris during our conference call. Yes, we did, Freddie. Yes, we did. You have such an amazing memory. And when we know that there is an opportunity in every moment to look for and to say, that's why I'm here. That's what this moment's for. Or we say, I'm going to figure this out in a minute. Right now, I'm just going to cherish it. I'm just going to be here. I'm going to be here now, present and accounted for. So how we anchor ourselves, Julie is saying, Dad passed away, eventually put in the work and blossomed into who I am today. Oh, Julie, I'm so glad. Going through that journey was one of the most awful yet freeing experiences of grief and growth. Oh my gosh, Julie, grief and growth. What a great combination. Grief and growth. Because there are so many times in grief when we shut down because we're overwhelmed and we just, we need a moment face down on the cool tiles of the kitchen floor. However, if we can open ourselves up to the growth process that we experience in grief, it's an incredible gift that we give ourselves. So when my sweet friend Dave got terribly sick and we had to take him to hospitals and he had to stay in hospitals, and I was going to the hospitals every day, not only to be there with him so he didn't feel alone, also for me so that I didn't feel alone, also to learn to be part of the process so I understood what was going on. It's hard to say I cherished each of those moments because they were hard moments. As Julie is saying, it's hard moments. it asks a lot of us to set other things aside and say, I'll be back. I have to do this right now and be in this present moment. And every single one of them was focus on this. I'm in the car. I have to get there. Let's focus on getting there. Let's not, while we're driving, think about the next thing. Let's just focus on getting there. And when we get there, let's just focus on getting the car parked and getting the stuff and getting into the hospital. And once we're in the hospital, take that breath, because now we are in a different headspace and we need to be present in a different way and listening to what people are saying and doing, and be very present for Dave and for me in those hours that we got to spend together. I had no time, I had no energy, and I had no inclination to steal away from those moments to chase something else or cling to the past. Every ounce of everything I am and do was needed now, in each of those now moments. And it went on and on and on and on and on. And when I would come home, reversing the thing, needed in the hospital, now I'm needed to get the car, now I'm needed to drive the car, park the car in the driveway, turn off the car, lock the car, get out of the car, lock the car. It became that much of a checklist. Take off the clothes in the order I put them on. Make the sandwich for tomorrow because they don't feed visitors. Put it in the fridge. Brush teeth, wash, set the alarm, go to bed. Text Dave, I'm home safe. See you in the morning. Thanks, son. I can go to sleep now. Present moment, present moment, present moment, present moment. At the end of it, it was like I was hiking out in a big sailboat in a high wind, and the wind stopped. Oof. Except that I couldn't lie there for very long, because the next series of things were needed of me. We all go through those periods, and we all remember them, and we can all talk about them. We all, as Julia said, we grieve and we grow, and we complete, we succeed, we do what we say we will do. And when we look back, we say, I did everything I could. Now I do this. When we become aware of ourselves, we see things very differently. We realize that we have had expectations that were fairly silly. We have assumed that when somebody said, oh, I'd love to come, what they meant was they'd love to come. we realize that when they said, oh, well, I'd love to come, means I'd have no intention of coming. So we have to be present to be able to actually watch them talk and see how they talk, to be able to say, oh, I get it. Translation, yes or no. If we're not present, we lose out. So the job today, the purpose today, the goal today with this video is to deliver on my promise. Give yourself grace as you grieve. Oh, wow. Grief and growth and grace. Ladies, that's a very interesting place to be. Grief, growth, and grace. I think we're going to talk about that some more. Thank you. This is how cool these videos are. This is how amazing it can be when we're having a conversation and we're just using all the different platforms to make the conversation possible. It's so exciting. It's collaboration at its very best. So, why I wanted to talk about this today is to help you understand that there is a way to change a habit. The motivational people who say, just say yes, just say no, you gotta this, you gotta do. Okay, would you like to tell me how? Would you like to show me which end of the tool to hold? There's a reason, there's a reason you don't hold a screwdriver by the pointy end. There's a reason you don't hold a tennis racket by the big end with the net in it. Yeah, you could probably guess, but it's nice to know why. That way you don't accidentally do it the wrong way. Wrong end of the screwdriver. Ow! Right? So I want in my process of explaining pivotry, of explaining this process, this hat we have, this ability we have, I want to give you the little keyhole to look through to see, oh, there it is. Oh, I see. Oh, it goes like this. All right, got it. Thanks. I want you to understand the way it works so that you make it work for you when you need it on your terms. And then we can discuss, how did that work for you? Do we need any adjustments here? Awesome. It's a way of empowering that invites collaboration again. So the mindset, the set of our mind, how we feel, who we have chosen to be as we've looked out at the world. Wake up. How am I feeling? Tired? When I sneezed 3 times after I woke up, I sneezed 3 times and I thought, oh, it looked like that sore throat from yesterday has decided to move into the larger apartment. Okay, more juice, burn on the hot coffee. As we understand more, we are excited to add those new bits of information and technique and process and understanding to our toolkit. As we repeat the new things, the old unhelpful things, that wiring begins to disappear. The subconscious brain says, I don't need that anymore. I got this. All right, we'll do this. This is a great survival tool. Oh, we'll use this. And this becomes our habit. Aware, self-aware, aware. And because of those two things, able to choose to be here on demand. Able to choose how we are here on demand. I was having a great talk last night with my staging manager, brainstorming pal, Greg. And I said, so I've added an element for this year at the event in July. And he said, oh, cool. What is it? And we were talking about all of the logistics. And we were talking. And he said, we need it. We need this and we need that. And I was really happy with that last year, but I wasn't keen on this. How do you feel about that? And we are finally getting ready to discuss the specific things we need to tweak and adjust for the event that's coming, so that every step we take is forward and higher and bigger, and brings in a new element, a new layer of fun to an event that is meant to be fun. And in that conversation with him, talking about this process I've been going through, talking about these steps and these keywords and these simple hacks that I'm doing. He said, we need to talk about making that so easy to use that people have to come up with an excuse not to. And I said, well, okay. Usually it's because desire or want desire. He said, yeah, but I mean, technically, if people say, oh gosh, yeah, I would bring a notebook, but I just don't. So he said, maybe we should look into maybe getting an app or two. Oh, cool. I have no idea what that means. He will look into it. And he said, so what's the new thing? And I said, well, the new thing is another layer of fame. I don't know if you're watching today. The idea that I bring to all the fan events. At fan events, it's collectibles, it's really cool toys and souvenirs and whatnot, and then it's an opportunity to meet people who starred in your favorite show of some sort or event of some sort, and get maybe an autograph with them and a picture with them, and so it becomes a moment of living and reliving the video game you love to play, the movie that changed your life. It's a wonderful experience. It's kind of a reunion, but it's also stepping into a different pair of shoes for a few hours. And when I go to these events, I went to the first one and I thought, well, what am I doing here? This is not, I don't have collectibles and I don't have this and I don't have that. And then I realized, no, why I'm at the event is to give people an up close and personal opportunity to connect with, to meet, to step into my world and get to know who created Mom, who created the Care Bear that they loved, the other cartoon voices, the other stage shows that I've done, the books that I've written. I'm giving them time with me, and they've come because I'm famous. So I said, okay, then if you're with me at my event, at my booth, you're famous too. So it evolved that when you come to my booth, my crew, we make you famous. We give you all the toys and the tools and the pictures and the attention and the fun, and it's your 15 minutes of fame. And you got the pictures to prove it. So every year we add some little layer to that. So people will want to come back and see, what are you doing this time that's different? What are you doing this time that's different? So that it's still exciting and it's still new. I mean, one of my showbiz boys said, when you go to a concert, you're not really going to this concert. You're not buying a ticket to experience this concert. You're buying the ticket to relive the last time you saw this group play. You want to bring that feeling back and attach it to how you feel now. It's not it's not clinging. It's dragging the past into the present as opposed to rushing into the past to live there. It's making the past come alive. And it's very cool when everybody agrees to do it. So my booth is always an interesting place to be. And the word is getting out that that's what happens. They come and they realize that this is going to happen, and there's all these paparazzi and everybody fusses over them, and they wear a feather boa, and there's lots of posing, and there's autographs, them autographing stuff. It's so cool. Anyway, I said to Greg, so I got this idea. What do you think of this? And he burst out laughing. He said, yep, that'll do it. That'll do it. Does Lance know? And I said, not yet. He said, can't wait to see that happen. So we are today, last night, talking about our event. We are bringing the future into the present to discuss and shape and design and upgrade and build. We are growing the promise on the foundation of the last promise we made and delivered. So in saying future, come here, I want to talk to you. Past, come here, I want to talk to you. Bring them together in the present and create something brand new, alive and well and breathing and ready to hug everybody is the perfect way to celebrate and understand what it means to fully cherish. The mindset reset is necessary. All these motivational people, all these coaching people who say, this is what we have to do. Here's the book. You have to do this. They don't explain why, and they don't show you how to include it in your life. I have no idea why they skip that step. I know that when I've occasionally tapped into to see what this program's about, what that program's about, and I've said, well, but where's the instructions? Life comes with a book of instructions. Where is it? You want my next chapter to be a success? You're telling me, go do this. Okay, but where's the instructions? How do I do it? How do I do these things you tell me to do? How do I fit that in? Those diets, when they say, get rid of everything in your pantry and go buy this. What? And here's all the new recipes you have to learn. Oh, okay. Yeah, I'll fit that in. I'm already using up all the 24 hours I got. Where did you want me to put all this? So my goal with you with Pivotry is to help you understand that there is an actual tangible process involved in shifting your mental, emotional, energetic, and physical gears. There is a process. You cannot shift anything until you are ready, until the comfort zone is no longer a comfort zone. Part of the training and the understanding of Pivotry is making sure you understand how to know you're ready, how to let go of the unhelpful things, where to put them, where to find the qualities we need to take the steps. The image for Pivotry is a heavy chain of links, and the links gradually disintegrate and disappear, and from them emerge beautiful birds that are flying free into the sunrise. The chain, the heavy coating is ours to own. It is ours to choose. I no longer choose. And to say, I'm done. And set ourselves free. When we do that, we don't need those chains. All they do is drag us down and hold us hostage. We have all the ability. We need to be ready. We need to be at the point where we say, no, sorry, that is not good enough. After we have said for years and years and years, it's not that bad. No, I'm fine, really. One day, it's not good enough. And that's the day we stop chasing and clinging. And we say, I choose me. This is why I'm here. This is what I'm doing. This is what I'm giving you the tools for to help you understand why I'm saying what I'm saying and doing what I'm doing. So that when we get together and when we start doing our workshops and when you reach out and say, I need some consulting, we are already on the same page. We don't have to waste a whole lot of time. And when you decide to come to my live shows and laugh really hard, because laughter is the best medicine, we will say, okay, that was a good time. What's next? Let's do this. And I think this is how we heal. I think this is how we move beyond the sadness, the indifferent incompetence, the administrative errors that we're making, and get back to a place where we feel, all right then, we got this. Because I know from personal experience, it's the best feeling in the world, and it's worth the effort. So I want to thank you. Where is the handle? Yes, right. I have the handle and I will show it to you. The opportunity to talk to you today so that I could fulfill a promise to a friend of mine tomorrow is a wonderful thing. And I'm glad that you saw that I was moving it. And for those of you who see it tomorrow and say, oh, I wish I'd known, I apologize. It was a very last minute thing. I felt that if I could give you value today, you would forgive me and we will be back on track the next time. Okay. So between now and the next time, be good to you. You deserve it. And remember to hug your loved ones because they deserve it too. There are no words to say how much I appreciate you for being part of this, for doing this with me, for joining me on the journey. I can't wait. We're building the website. We're populating it with the right information, figuring out how a contact form works, all the little detaily things, and the setbacks that have come along to shift our path a little bit. That's okay. We recalibrate, we regroup, we say, all right, so not there, here, tally ho. All of this work that is going on, even though you only see me a couple of times a week, we are moving forward on the project and it's very exciting. And I know that when you see the stuff, you'll say, okay, that's what she was doing. Alrighty then. So between now and next time, stay present. Your loved ones will thank you.